Thanks, listeners, for joining us. It's time to go outdoors with Julie Gabrielson from Nevada Department of Wildlife. She is our conservation educator, Julie, and it's great to sit down with you. It means there's a lot of fun ahead exploring our beautiful Nevada landscape.
How are you?
Excited to see you and to look forward to some nice spring. I mean, we've had spring weather, but yeah.
Back and forth. Yeah,
Yes.
It doesn't know what it wants to do. It's that time of year. It just doesn't know what it wants to do. It's cold one day, and then the next day we're beautiful and 65 degrees and ready to start our gardens. And then the next day we're reminded it's too early.
It is too. I wanted so badly to buy plants and just fix up the porch. And I know, not till Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Right?
Nope. Yeah. That's the key right there is Memorial Day. And then it's hit or miss for a couple weeks afterwards, right?
Yep. So take it from us. We've lived here for a while.
Yes. Yep. So we have lots going on. We've got a new event that we're hosting down in Ely on May 11th. It's called the Save Comins Lake Pike Out is our event. Pike they're an aquatic invasive species that are down in Comins Lake. They were illegally planted down there. And they're actually incredibly detrimental to the fishery down there. So we are calling on all local anglers to come and help us fish them out. And that's going to, like I said, that's going to take place May 11th. We've got some amazing partners and sponsors that are helping out with this event that are going to allow us to give out some really phenomenal prizes. We're breaking it into 3 different categories. So we've got 5 to 9 years old, 10 to 15 years old, and then 16 years and older. First, second, and third place prizes for biggest pike caught as well as the most pike caught. And that's for all 3 prizes. It is happening on the Saturday right before Mother's Day. So as kind of an apology, but also maybe a pull to maybe get some mamas out there to help us out with this derby, we're having a special Mother's Day raffle as well. And all of the items being given out as far as that goes are being donated by local shops and vendors in the Ely area as well. All participants must register for it. If you're going to be eligible for prizes, you do have to register. Entry is limited for each of the groups, so be sure to register as soon as possible. And it's free. That's the best part about it, on top of everything else, getting out and having a good day out in the outdoors with your family. It is free. You can call Nicole Hamlin at 775-777-2388 for more information on it. You can also find the registration information on our Facebook page, on our Instagram. We actually just posted all of that last night. So social media's got it out there. You can find those registration links. And again, if you can't find them for whatever reason, just give us a call at the office and we'll direct you in the right place to get you registered for it. Should be a great time. Again, May 11th down at Comins Lake in Ely.
Great day fishing. And question, do you need a license since this is so wide open?
Yeah, you'll still need a license down there for fishing, but boats will also be allowed. So you can, come on down and bring your boats, but they do have to go through the AIS cleaning and sealing process before they can launch them into the lake.
All right, because that's also important too. While we're working on one species, we got to think about the others.
You do, yep. And that's a big part of what we're thinking about with removing as many of these pike out of Comins Lake as we can, is because they're just so incredibly invasive that they take over the lake from the other species. And it's typically a trophy trout and bass fishery, but the pike are reducing that trophy level because they are taking over to that extent. So the whole point of having the event is to help get some of them out and take some of the burden off of the other species that are there.
All right, Julie, thanks for the update there. And then we know it's the time of year to get volunteers back out on the landscape.
Yes, we've got our volunteer guzzler build coming back again. Every summer we try to do one volunteer guzzler build. Last year we had over 60 volunteers with staff helping out on it, and it was a great weekend. This year it's the weekend of June 29th. It'll be held about 30 miles out of Ely, and we'll build another 10,000 gallon water development that benefits elk and mule deer and pronghorn. It's a family-friendly event. Jobs for everybody. So definitely bring the kids out and enjoy it. It is a camping event. We typically show up Friday, camp out overnight Friday, do all the bulk of the work on Saturday, and then finish it up with a really nice dinner on Saturday night. And then some cleanup might be on Sunday morning, or it might just be breakfast Sunday morning, depending on how much work gets done on Saturday. And then we all head back home for the weekend. Shout out to the Elko Bighorns Unlimited and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. They both partner with us on this and are huge contributors to making the event happen for us.
And it's a pretty nice terrain, right? It's a beautiful landscape.
Beautiful landscape. Yep, we're always out. There's always a good chance that we're not even in cell service. So, I mean, it's totally disconnect weekend, have a good time. Some camaraderie and some good storytelling around some cornhole and some dinner on Saturday night and even some on Friday night. And it is a lot of work on Saturday for the actual build itself, but it's really rewarding, and it's really neat to see it get, brought up and be able to see it ready for work the next winter.
Oh, that's fantastic, Julie. Thank you. That's a great invitation. Speaking of invitation, you've got something for those who like creepy crawly things.
Creepy crawly things, yes. If you like reptiles, this one is for you. We're always in search of volunteers. In this one particularly, it's for to help inventory reptiles and their presence in Lamoille Canyon as well as in the Angel Lake area. It begins in June and it runs through the entire summer. It's really flexible and you can do it on your own schedule. It helps to have some knowledge of our local reptiles, but if you don't, we do have people that can train you on what to look for and where to look for it, along with some reptile ID guides that we usually send a little care packet with our volunteers for this project so that they have that information on hand. It's really a great way to spend a little extra time outdoors, especially in the summertime. And it's also family friendly. If you like road tripping, it's a great opportunity to go out and just spend some time out there and seeing what we've got for you. Nicole Hamlin is the contact of the hour right now, 775-777-2388, and she can get you signed up for that and get you through the training and everything needed.
Well, another important aspect of what Nevada Department of Wildlife does, Julie, is all of this education, and it extends to not just children, but to families and individuals.
It does, and we've got our angler education. That's a big part, especially this time of year coming into spring and summer. We've got our Intro to Fly Fishing Clinic happening at South Fork of the Humboldt River. The part one of it's actually multi-parts. Part one is going to be casting practice, and that's going to be April 25th at 6 p.m. at the Elko City Park. Part two is actual stream fishing on the South Fork of the Humboldt on the 27th of April from 8 to noon. We provide all of the equipment. A big part of these programs that we offer this way is we want you to have some experience to help you make a better decision on what equipment you're looking for if you want to continue doing this before you really put a whole lot of cost out, because some of this can be pretty costly to get involved in. So we really want to give you some good solid feet on the ground so you can go into it just running. Just do it. This particular class is open to anglers 12 and over. And again, Miss Nicole Hamlin, 775-777-2388 can get you signed up for that. You should be able to see it on our registration page as well to find your classes on there, along with many other classes.
And some of your other great partners, Julie, with Nevada Department of Wildlife have been eagerly anticipating the collaboration that you do in their classrooms and during their special events, from California Trail Center to even the terrace at Ruby View, the Senior Center.
We do, yeah. Nicole St. John. I have Team Nicole. So Nicole St. John really does a great job diversifying where she's going into. She does a lot of work with school teachers of all grade levels, but she goes to the library, she goes to the Trail Center, like you said, the Senior Center. So she's really branching out and getting these educational programs all over the community, and not just in Elko, but Battle Mountain and Wendover and Ely, and really getting it out there. She's got additional school programming available still for the spring. So if you teachers are looking for some additional options, like Know Your Nevada, which is a 4th grade based program, owl pellet dissections, skins and skulls, different little programs that we can do. They are in full swing, and there is still some room for those to be scheduled. So give her a call. Her number is 775-777-2391. She does have a skin skulls and track casting event happening on tomorrow, March 30th at 1 o'clock at the Trail Center. All of the supplies are are provided. It is limited to 20 registrants, and you do need to get a hold of the Trail Center website to get registered for that. We also have, starting next week, is Wild Week, which is part of our Elko County Spring Break events. One day is going to become a biologist day. Another day is birds and bats, survival skills, intro to archery, as well as a youth-only hunter education class. You can find more information about that online on our website as well as Facebook. Last I looked, there were still a couple seats available for some of these classes. So if you've got some students that you're looking for something for them to do in the mornings during spring break, definitely look into that. And if you can't find our links, give us a call even at the main office, and they'll direct you to the right place, and we'll get you set up on that. A lot of those activities are going to include owl pellet dissections, habitat dioramas, intro to birding, as well as archery skills and survival skills.
And it's so popular, and the kids really come away with a lot of information. I know it's inspired some youngsters to go on and get, degrees in environmental science.
It's great.
Yeah, really cool stuff,
yeah,
Julie.
It really gives them that bird's eye view, and even a little bit closer than bird's eye, hands-on on some of the stuff that our biologists and the people that work in the field, working so hard to maintain our habitat and our wildlife, what they really do on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, it's a great thing.
Super cool. Julie Gabrielson is our guest. We're talking about Nevada Department of Wildlife events and activities for the spring and summer, and the sage grouse experience is also drawing near.
Yes, April 20th is our annual sage grouse experience. It's partnered with Department of Wildlife as well as Northeastern Nevada Stewardship Group and a couple other agencies that send some folks over to help out with it. It happens at 4:30 a.m. on the 20th. The reason for this is our sage grouse, they are in their lekking season, and what that is it's their mating season, and a lek is where they're doing their mating dances. And it's right at about sunset that they start coming out to play around for a little bit and show their stuff to the females. So we get out there really early, right at the break of dawn, so that we can see them in their prime. We provide all of the transportation. We even provide some breakfast when we return back to the Elko Department of Wildlife offices where it's hosted out of. And there'll be a discussion afterwards, as well as presentations from some of our local sage grouse experts. You do need to register online, and that's through our registration program. And that's really for all of the different events that I've talked about, and that's register.ed.com. And then if you look up programs and then Nevada specific, you'll be able to find it in the drop down. Like I said, all of the registrations do need to sign up through that link. The registration through this link is new this year. Typically in the past has been a phone call and you could call and get signed up. But we're taking it a step further because we want these folks that are coming out there and helping us and seeing all of these sage grouse to be volunteers for us. By being out there, we get some extra volunteer time and mileage that we can account towards other grants that we get some bounce back on. We typically get a 3-to-1 match for some of the grants that we've got for volunteer efforts.
It really gives back in so many ways. I mean, those are hard dollars that you get.
It is, and they're invaluable. We couldn't do a lot of what we do without that. Which makes our volunteers invaluable. We really need them out there, and not just in an event like this where it's a one-time event or the Guzzler project. We've got so many different ways that somebody can come and volunteer for us. So on a volunteer front, if you really want to volunteer for us and find out what other opportunities there are, you can always give us a call, and we'll let you know all the different ways that we can put you to work.
That sounds great, Julie. A lot of people have been retiring lately, looking forward to doing some things by choice, and this is a great way to give back and to learn so much about this beautiful place we live.
It is, and we're pretty fortunate.
Absolutely.
We are pretty fortunate.
So into the business of operations, there are some things, big game, you can apply for big game tags right now, right?
Yes, big game application period opened on Monday. It's that time of year. It closes on May 8th. Google Chrome is the best platform to use that application site on. That's ndowlicensing.com. Your license, remember, your hunt license, hunt fish combo, is only good for a full year from the date of purchase. But pay attention to those dates of purchase when you're putting in for your applications, because there might be some little crossover conflicts. So you really need to make sure that you've got a current new license for the application period that you're working with. Back to, other operation type things, we've got, it's that time of year where people are wanting to get those boats on the water. You do need to have a title with a vessel in order to register it in the state. It's yard sale season also, which means if you find those yard sale boats, make sure you get a title with them. It's really a lot of work to register a boat without a title, and some of them can't be done. So really make sure you get a title if you're buying any boats, even out of state. You need to get a title with those boats. And then OHV registration and inspections, those are all done through the DMV. Department of Wildlife does not do the OHV registrations and inspections.
All right. And as we were talking about the Nevada big game seasons and application books, they should be out and about here?
They are out. Yes,
Good.
We've got them in the office. You should, if you haven't already, and you did apply for tags last year, you should get one in the mail as well. If not, come on down. You can pick them up at the office, but those new reg books are out. And remember that quotas listed in the seasons and app book, those are from last year and should only be used as a reference. Our actual quota setting dates for 24-25 hunting seasons will be established at the State Board of Wildlife Commissioners on May 3rd and 4th. That meeting's in Reno this year.
All right. Those are always ones to watch, and a lot of enthusiasm for what the state board is up to.
Yes. And it's really good to go and hear what's going on there. These are public boards. So, it's an open public hearing. Come on down and listen to it and let us know what you're thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you can follow along online, I think, too, with this one. This is how I've seen them before. So
yes, yeah. They do have some online options for some of the meetings as well, and this one will be one of them.
All right. And law enforcement is also busy out, helping people. We don't like it when people get stuck or lost, but there's also an opportunity to remind people about some of the important regulations and laws.
Absolutely. A big part of what they do is just community contact. And just getting out and seeing how people are doing and what they're doing and having fun with it, hopefully, and making sure they're doing it safe. It is a good reminder, though, shed hunting season is closed on public lands right now, and that's in Elko, Eureka, Lander, Lincoln, Nye, and White Pine counties. That season closes January 1st through April 30th every year now. We've also followed up with a newly passed shed ethics online training requirement. That certificate does have to be renewed every year, and in order to hunt any sheds after April 30th, you do need to have that certificate on hand. Those classes are free. You can find them at huntered.com. And in addition to that, just make sure that your licenses are renewed and in possession before your first trip out. That goes for fishing too.
Yeah, definitely. You need to have that on hand. A lot of people now have them on their phones. You can do that.
You can. Yep.
Yes.
You can have a digital copy of it. You just got to make sure that you have it on hand.
Right.
And it is that time. Fishing's happened. South Fork's been open for several weeks now. They put the boat ramp in.
Oh, yeah. Last
month.
visit.
Yes. They put the boat. Yeah. It's been a minute since it's been in. But things are still changing pretty fast with spring fishing. Area streams are picking up and the runoff. And most are even off-colored and pretty high. So you need to take some caution if you're dealing with any of the streams or the creeks and rivers that we've got around here. Local small lakes and reservoirs are pretty much ice-free at this point. Any remaining ice is considered extremely unsafe. Just avoid it and just stay away from it. Wild Horse Reservoir is still frozen, though, with lots of slush and inconsistent ice, and even rotten ice and open water around the edges. So we really are advising anglers to use extreme caution if you're venturing out, and we're actually not recommending you do it at all. Just stay on the shoreline. That ice is just too questionable at this point. South Fork, like we just talked about, is open. It has been fishing pretty well for trout, both from the shore and from boat at this point. The cold fronts may slow it down a little bit for a few days, but when it starts warming up a little bit, then you'll start seeing a better catch. Comins Lake down in Ely is pretty much ice-free as well at this point. And we're looking at next week, April 1st, to start seeing some trout stocking throughout the region.
And that's done sometimes aerially, right? Or
the high lakes will do aerially, but that's only every couple of years.
Okay.
But the local waters, they are done by truck.
It's kind of spectacular, however you see it, right?
It is.
There's nothing like that. Yeah. Having seen those fish go shooting out of the truck, or, if you were to happen to be up there in one of the lakes when they're doing it aerially, that's amazing.
It is pretty cool when they do that area. I mean, both ways, you're right.
Yeah.
Both ways are pretty impressive, but the aerially, watching a biologist hang halfway. I mean, they're buckled in and they're pretty tight in there, but they've got a bucket that has got, a bunch of fish in it, and they dump it into the lake from just a couple feet above the water, and doors open on the helicopter and everything. And so it is pretty impressive. And then, when they do it by truck, the chute that they come out of, there's a lot of force that they come out of there with too. And it's just really cool and impressive to see the big fish come out of there.
Yep. A lot of dedication that goes into that. So that's really neat. So look for that, and happy, it's spring. The buzzards come back to Elko. The Dairy Queen is open. It's snowing, and we have trout stocking.
Yes. Signs of spring in Elko. You
Yes.
are so right on that.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of diversity, Department of Wildlife has been partnering with Audubon, and we love hearing from Team Nicole about how our locals have been helping track our birds.
Yes, it seems like we're getting more and more programs that allow us to do it year round and not just specific times of year. But NDOW, we are working with the Audubon to help resurvey the migratory shorebird sites across the Intermountain West. And that's all going to be happening in April. We're on the third year of the surveys, and the results will be compared to surveys that were done 30 years ago. And that's going to help assess changes in the habitat, the distribution, the abundance of all of those shorebirds. This is another volunteer opportunity. If you have interest in helping with these surveys, you can contact anybody from the Bristlecone Audubon, and they can help get you started on that, and where you need to go, what you need to do, and how you need to report it. We've also got some of our preliminary results from our 2024 January and February winter hibernacula surveys. That's for white nose syndrome found in bats. We continue to come back negative, thankfully. Nevada is actually one of the few states in the United States to not have a positive white nose syndrome detection to this date. So that's always good news when we get that result back. Also working with the Department of Wildlife is the Eastern Nevada Landscape Coalition. We're working to hire a 3-person small mammal crew that will help survey rodent species like the kangaroo mice, chipmunks, across the state through the summer. It will be based out of Ely, though. So if you or know somebody that might be interested in helping out with a survey like this, get a hold of us. Mackenzie Jeffress would be the ideal, the primary contact for that. And she can get you all of the information on how you can apply for it.
And you can even find out about the pica by talking to Mackenzie.
Oh,
yeah, that's her project, right?
She would love to talk to you about the pica because they are her project. They are her animal.
Yeah.
And I can't blame her because they're pretty cool to see. They're my favorite thing to hear when I'm up there in the rubies, and then to be able to pin them down from their sound and find them where they're at and screaming at you from. They're just really cool animals.
Yeah, really. And, speaking of the sounds, there are so many things that we can identify in nature. And that's why some of these programs, Julie, are just so cool, in surveying the birds. I mean, from the meadowlarks and the jaybirds, the blue jays, our big soaring, beautiful eagles. And we just have such a rich treasure of wildlife.
We do.
Yeah.
We're pretty, like I say it over and over again, we're really fortunate here because there's, so many different species that you can see, and species you would never expect to see here. And here we have them now.
Yep. And you can be part of that by volunteering, of course, on any number of these crews. I know it's not on the list. We have just a little time. I was going to ask about monitoring for if you do come across an animal that is sick, for example. I know that veterinarians talk to bird owners about avian flu and things like that. And that can be transmitted to livestock. So.
It can. And some of the things to remember with those types of things is cleanliness. Cleanliness is key. One of the ways to help reduce it in your homestead would be changing boots out before, going from coop to house. Having a coop that other birds cannot get into if you've got chickens or any kind of, turkeys or geese or whatever you've got. Have a facility that other birds cannot get into and bring it into your facility as well. There's always going to be a little bit of cross-contamination no matter how hard we try, because some of those birds are really crafty and they can find their way into crazy spaces. But cleanliness is a big key for it. If you start noticing any odd behavior, then call us. Give us a call. If it's a wild bird specifically, give us a call, and we'll go out and we'll have somebody take a look at it and observe it, and may even collect it for sampling.
All right, good to know. Call NDOW whenever in doubt. And we've also seen some reports lately, not in our area, thankfully, but of mountain lions or cougars, and people need to be aware that they may be out and about this time of year as well.
We especially in this area, we live where they live. And I mean, the encounters are possible. There is no doubt about that. They're rare in this neck of the woods. But they are here. We live where they live, and we just need to respect that and know what to do when we do encounter them. Our pets, unfortunately, can be, pretty tempting for them. And so it's a matter of watching what you're doing with your own homestead to reduce that attraction as well. Fences are phenomenal, not just for deer, but for any predators as well. Having a really good solid fence will help reduce those visits and protect your pets as well. And another thing is feed. Don't keep feed out that might be attracting a deer, and a deer might attract a mountain lion. So these are things to consider when you've got your property and you're building your fences, or you're building any kind of boundaries, or you're feeding the wildlife. I mean, even bird food, which attracts deer. So we have to be careful with all of that and think about all of the different ways that it can impact our own wildlife and our own property and pets even.
Thanks, Julie. Really good advice. And just an example of more of the information you can get. Nevada Department of Wildlife hosts a YouTube channel. You have tons of great educational and instructional videos online.
We do, and we never take them down. They're always up there, so you can find stuff from several years ago even. Some of our best videos are still being watched, and they were posted 4 or 5 years ago. So there's educational stuff, there's informational stuff, there's some just entertaining stuff on there as well. I also want to go back to the volunteer programs and our events coming up. That same site that you can find all of our events on is that register-ed.com. And again, go to programs, find Nevada, and then it will start dialing in the different programs that we have available that you can register for. Most of our stuff does require that registration, so it's really important to get in there and get signed up. So most of them also have limitations on how many people we can have in there. So the sooner you get into those, the sooner that you can get signed up and register for it.
Great. So jump on that so you don't be disappointed. Get the app, get online, bookmark that. Lots of ways to stay in touch with Nevada Department of Wildlife, both close to home and across the state. Julie, thank you so much for your time and an excellent program. We always look forward to your visit.
Thanks for having us.